Okay. A bit late.
We're just a little bit. Oh, yes, about 4 minutes. Good morning. I'm Melissa Nielsen.
I'm Eric Nielsen.
And we are coming to you again on two different screens. As we're trying to... Friday we were on two different screens. Mm-hmm. Friday we did a piece on temperament. And we were on our Thrive page and on the Waldorf Essentials page. And we announced that we're moving all video to Monday. So we're on Monday for all videos. And so sometimes you're going to see Eric with me. We're going to be talking more Thrive, parenting-centered stuff. And we're also on the new Melissa Nielsen page. That's just Melissa Nielsen. And so we're going to be in both places for a little bit, and then things are going to slowly start to move over to the Melissa Nielsen page more and more. And you'll see why. We've got big announcements coming and stuff. So we wanted to sort of put this in both places, so there were videos in both places when people stopped by. So, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Kelly. My lovely assistant. Amazing assistant. So, you might wonder why I'm wearing this crazy headband today. It's because we're going to talk about having fun together. And I was thinking that maybe that was silly, but... Anyway, how important is date night? What do you think? What's your answer to that?
Well, I know that when we go a good chunk of time or we don't have any time to ourselves, things don't go as well.
They don't. And we're not just talking about intimacy, because that's like super important too. I think that needs to rank up there really high with things that you're able to do together. But also at the same time, just taking that time just for connection, like to talk. Sometimes date night seems like this huge thing that some people can't do, especially if they have young children. But I think truly that date night is imperative, even if it only lasts 20 minutes.
Because sometimes we get interrupted so much that we hesitate starting to say something important.
He'll just stop talking. I'm like, honey, start talking. He's like, no.
Because someone's going to walk in the door and they're going to say, hey, Mom. And then I forgot what I was going to say.
The hey, moms. Oh, man.
And it could be a smaller kid, a bigger kid, or a phone call.
It could be. So it is definitely very important to block out time that's just the two of you. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this was because we had like a hiccup this week. And that generally doesn't happen to us.
We got so busy. I got so busy doing what I was doing, and you got so busy doing what you were doing.
Right.
That we ended up spinning our wheels because there's ways that we could have made it easier for each other.
Exactly.
Because we didn't talk.
We didn't think about, because we sort of compartmentalized what I need to get done and what he needed to get done, rather than coming together and saying, how can we both get something accomplished that we need to get accomplished? And, doing that one thing and that's about... It's about humility on both parts, because I was frustrated and you were frustrated, and so sometimes when I'm frustrated I just have to stop talking because I get diarrhea of the mouth. And but having that conversation and that interaction allowed us to both be able to step back and say, okay, well, let's try something else. Let's try and do X, Y, and Z instead of the PDQ that we were trying.
Yeah.
But having that time to connect is what's supremely important, because if we don't have that time, then things start to fall apart. And we hadn't had that time. We had been so busy and just trying to get things done. We have a lot of stuff going on at Waldorf Essentials, and we just have been crazy busy, and we've got crazy busy kids right now, and it's a reminder of here we are only 25 or so days or 24 days into the new year, and that's not what we wanted to do this year. We didn't want that. We wanted to be able to slow down. We wanted to be able to connect more with each other, and so it was a good reminder. Mm-hmm. What do you think from your perspective, if you had if you were talking to a dad about why date night is important, what would you say?
Well, because I think people forget.
Kelly just saw my headband.
Well, I think, and we talk to lots of people where we go, why did those two even get together? Because they don't even like each other.
Right.
So I think people forget why they even got together in the first place, because life gets in the way and wears us down, and then
Right, and then you don't have time for each other at the end of the day if you're letting life really wear you down instead of like communicating about how life is wearing you down. I was thinking, as I was getting ready this morning, date night is really good, I think, because it doesn't matter what your temperament. Date night then becomes about the two of you rather than just about you. So if you or your partner tend to be the woe is me, everything's out to get me, like constantly looking in the mirror about how sad they are, date night becomes that time to hopefully break that down and really connect to each other, you know, rather than it being all about one person.
yeah.
I think that's one reason why it's so important, because then you're thinking about each other. You're not thinking about just yourself.
And there's times on dates where we've said, okay, now we need to stop talking about our kids.
Yes, we probably usually, like if we are actually going out on a date, which we try to act, you know, we have older kids, and so definitely we have different resources now than we did when they were younger. But I will say that we have always had a babysitter that we liked. That's always been extremely important to us. We may have had a babysitter that one of the children would only stay with for 30 minutes, but remember, I was thinking about Sam, how many movies I left in the middle of because of Sam. Because and we had a lovely babysitter, and he just did not, that was not his deal. He was like, nope, sorry. It took him until he was probably 3, it seems like, before he really liked, we had this great girl, her name was Katie, and he was probably 3 before he really took to Katie. But in the meantime, we still left him for 30 minutes until we had to come back, or an hour sometimes. I remember those Sonic commercials, the Sonic drive-in place where it's like the mom and the dad, and they're in the minivan, and you can tell they're on like a date. That was totally us for probably 3 years. Yeah. Every date, I think we were sitting at Sonic, sharing some food, and talking, trying to just connect with each other. And, you know, and then as our kids got older, as Sam got older, and then, you know, of course, Ellie got older, so then when Soraya came along, we had more help. And she was a preemie, so we took her with us everywhere for probably the first year. I don't remember leaving her until we moved to Utah from Idaho, really. Yeah. So she was 4 or 5 months. No, she was older than that, it seems like. So we always had somebody that, but because that was important to us. It was really important to us that we found somebody so that we could have the time we needed. So I hear often from parents, well, we don't want to leave them with anybody. Or honestly, I've been this mom, I don't leave my children with anybody. I've been that mom. I was that mom with my older 3 kids. I want to tell you something. I got divorced. You have to spend time together. You have to spend time figuring each other out. You have to spend time enjoying each other, because stuff breeds otherwise. And even if your husband is telling you, honey, it's okay, I promise you, you need to find ways to spend time together. So if you are not willing to leave them with somebody, and I'm again renewing what I'm saying, find a sitter. There is somebody out there that you can trust, that your kids will fall in love with, that you will be able to, feel comfortable with. But again, even if that's not possible, even if you have to put them to bed and then have a date, do that. Be together. Put them to bed. Like, pick a day. Everybody's going to bed at 7:30. You are then sitting on the couch together, going, chatting in the bedroom together, whatever it is. Make the day. You have to pick it, because if you don't pick the day, it's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. And, like I said, I know there's, because I've been an attached parent for more than 20 years. And so, I get that. I get the whole, I don't want to leave my child. I totally get that. I've absolutely been there. But I'm telling you, you need to spend time together. And when they're old enough to leave for an overnight, you need to spend overnight time together, alone, away from home, in a hotel. And remember that you love each other. And remember what it was like before you had kids. And, I think some of those times that we've gone away, the intimacy, fun stuff aside, like the fun time that we've had together outside of that. The last time Eric and I went away, don't laugh, we went to Disneyland. Just the two of us. We covered more ground in 2 hours than we covered in a whole day with our kids with us. We had so much fun. But it was just us. And it was laughing and carrying on. It was just us.
Well, and two, eventually kids are going to grow up and move away and get their own life, and then you're going to be sitting there and you're just
staring at each other. You want to like that person, right?
Because I know people that they dread the point when the last kid moves out, because then they have to deal with the other person.
We know several people that are in that situation. Yeah. Some family and some not family. But goodness, you really have to think about that relationship, because you got together for a reason. And hopefully you dated when you got together and you spent that time, alone together then. That's really the breakdown. When I see, like, I'm thinking about some of the couples that we're working with, it's really that they've gotten so caught up in the minutia of working and parenting that they forgot to work on this part. Mm-hmm. So, do you have any other thoughts about dating, being together?
No, I think that's...
you know what? I was going to talk, too, about that weekly check-in that we do, even though it's not a date.
Yeah, well, because we've talked about when we're really super busy, we need to have, like...
A daily check-in.
Daily check-in of what's going on.
Yeah, we both work at home together, so there's, times when we need to check in daily. But I was thinking, too, we did a video a few weeks ago on the family council and how important family councils are. And I think that that also you have to have this partner council, like at least weekly. But I really do think that there's something to be said for checking in every day.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure, Mom, when you do that check-in, or Dad, if you're the one at home, don't give him the laundry list of everything that went bad for the day. First check in with, and Dad, if you've been gone all day and you had a hard day at work, don't give her the laundry list of everything your boss did that made you mad. Don't use that for your check-in, Do the check-in of, how are you feeling? How are you sleeping? Are you feeling okay? Simple things like that get forgotten when people are busy.
Yeah.
And just really
it can easily get out of control if you're not.
Or right, because I think too that if you're fighting, look at the reasons why you're fighting. Maybe, and I know that this can be true sometimes, fighting sometimes happens because one or the other person doesn't feel good. And so they don't feel good, and then that sort of builds and gets out of hand, rather than saying, honey, I just don't feel good. But when you're connecting, that sort of stuff happens way less.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that was pretty much it.
I think so.
Kelly and I are going to be putting up, hopefully, the next 4 weeks of events, videos, Monday videos. And I don't know if you're going to be in them or not. You might be. I like it when he's here. So, all right. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Go date your husband or your wife. Bye.